Big Tiz, Big O. What's going on, Big O?
Oh, nothing but heartbreak, Big Tiz.
Hey, you guys out there, you got to know we are back, and we are back larger than ever. Actually, we had to go old school audio because you know what? The Steelers played last night, and we want to give you guys the best there is out there. And we figured, you know what? We wouldn't have enough time to do it with the video portion of it, so we're going to do it with the audio portion of it. And also, we had a lot of guys out there who listened to us on the audio side as well, and these guys love the audio, and they wanted to see the audio come back as well. So, we figured, you know what? We'll try to, get a little piece to both sides. So we brought back the audio for tonight, and the Steelers played last night. So you know what? We figured we'd try audio side for you guys.
Yeah, let's kick it back old school, Big Tiz. I want to apologize. First of all, I'm a little bit under the weather right now. You can probably hear my voice is not the same. Do not adjust your volumes at home. This is me, Big O. So if you don't recognize the voice on the radio side, it is truly me.
Well, you know what, guys? The game last night was a game to be had. The Steelers, you know what, they played better than I thought they would offensively. When I say that, I mean offensively like line play. Other than that, I didn't really see too much. But you know what, I'm not going to sit on the radio tonight and bash the Steelers like I really want to. But I'm not going to do that because I'm a Steeler live to the core, black and gold. So, Big O, you know what? Let's talk a little bit about the game and, some of the things that happened in the game.
I was a little disappointed. Actually, I was very disappointed, Big Tiz. Not the way that I predicted or thought the game was going to come out. I had Dwyer coming in and just tearing up the turf. I had Dwyer at least not getting 100 yards, but, some kind of yardage to help this rushing offense. And 1 carry, 2 yards. Very disappointing. I don't know why they would bring him back to the team and just give him the ball one time.
Actually, I didn't understand that either. I mean, to go through the trouble of bringing this guy back and bringing him back into your offense, and you didn't use him at all. But the thing about it is, maybe they want him to get back into football shape, but just a little bit, even though he was gone for a couple of weeks. But you know what? Sometimes, just that little added, was needed for, especially a running back. And they had Felix Jones, and Jones does show pretty decent sparks. So that much I'm kind of impressed with, but the Steelers have to get it together. Felix Jones ran 10 times for 37 yards, which I didn't think was too bad, And you gotta look at this. There was no blocking.
But there was a lot of pass protection, more than we anticipated, more than we've seen in preseason, and more than we've seen in Game 1. That I believe that's because of the new center we got, the new pickup.
Right, and that was a big pickup to get right before the game, actually. And this guy actually played a whole season with the Tennessee Titans, and he seemed to do the job last night. I don't know about his run blocking, but his pass blocking was very, very effective.
Yeah, he started 13 games out of 16. I'm not sure if it was injury, rest, or whatnot, but Fernando Velasco, number 61, for those of you keeping score at home, great pickup, unbelievable. Taking over for Pouncey's injury. We have really nobody. Legursky's gone, and there's pretty much nobody else left to take up that center position. So Fernando Velasco, for those of you guys at home, write that name down, remember it. And if you watch the game last night, you can tell by his presence alone, Big Tiz, that there was going to be some serious blocking up front, and the guys followed his lead.
Exactly. And the guys on the line, let's give them kudos for what they achieved in this game with some form of blocking. I mean, not every. There was I believe it was 3 sacks in the game that the Steelers gave up. I'm not positive.
It's 3 too many.
Right. But the thing about it was the blocking at least held up to some aspects of the game where Ben could actually look downfield, complete some passes, and, he had a lot of errant throws, but you know what? The blocking was actually there at that moment.
Absolutely. I liked how they were, keeping Ben safe in the pocket, but for some reason I think that Ben is so used to being pressured that he didn't realize actually how much time he had to throw the ball, which, not to make too many excuses for the guy. He's a professional. He's been doing it for over 10 years, 2-time Super Bowl champion, that you have to hit your receivers, especially in the time right now where you need anything and everything to help your team. Receivers were open. He just missed them.
Exactly, and that's actually what it came down to. Big O, let's go over some of the game stats from that game against the Bengals.
Well, Big Tiz, Cincinnati controlled the whole game. They came out almost 80 total plays that the Bengals ran to the Steelers' 55 plays. Total yards for the Bengals were 407 to the Steelers 278, which doesn't sound like a lot.
Right.
But after watching the first game and the preseason games and only rushing for 30 yards a game, that's not too bad. It's not too bad. Then we get to the turnovers. Turnovers are huge. We have yet to create a turnover. 0 turnovers for the Bengals last night. We didn't do anything. Steelers, on the other hand, 2. When we do it good.
Right.
I mean, these were just not turnovers during the game. Just sporadic. This was on a huge drive by the pass to Paulson, running down the field. Couldn't hold on to the ball, and that was huge because the Steelers were driving. And we all know at the end of the game that kind of sealed the victory for the Bengals. Ben Roethlisberger throws a pick.
Exactly, and I don't know about you guys, but that seems sometimes to be getting the usual forte with the game on the line. And I hate to say it, but I mean, Ben is throwing some big time picks within the last couple of years that have been some game enders. And I hate to say it, I'm going back to even Denver.
Oh,
the game 1 of the season last year when Ben threw a big pick late. And if you want to go beyond that, and I know a lot of guys out there, you know what, you're bashing Ben, but the truth is the truth. And you even go back to the Super Bowl, Ben threw a lot of late picks in that, and even some early picks in that one. But you know what, things happen, and I believe Ben is a phenomenal quarterback. He just needs that blocking, and maybe that's what it is. Ben is just so used to being hit and thinking that he's going to get hit that sometimes he's throwing the ball maybe before the receiver actually really has a chance to make the move he needs to make.
Right, but he did have that one perfect time pass to Derek Moy in the end zone for the touchdown. The kid, rookie out of Penn State, number 14, great receiver. He got great hands, great route runner, and he's got the height.
Exactly. That was a great pass. And
I'm shocked, Big Tiz, that they even used him in that situation because of his height.
Yeah, well, the guy's, I believe, 6'3", 6'4", and that's something that still has been lacking. We have a lot of short, stout receivers with speed, but we need somebody with some height to actually be used in that type of play. And out going into the corner of the end zone and using his height, which he did there, beautiful. I can see some pluses that could be coming down the line for the Steelers, and hopefully right there, that's something that we can look at and build on. Right.
Getting back to Roethlisberger, 20 for 37 for 251 yards, 1 TD, and this one subsequent interception. The non-existent running game, if you want to call it a running game, Felix Jones, you noted earlier, 10 carries, 37 yards. Isaac Redman, 3 carries, 4 yards. But you know what? On an up note, no fumble.
that is huge.
And Dwyer, like I said earlier, 1 carry in the whole game. He's not injured, folks. Don't worry about that. No reports coming out of Steeler camp that he has any type of injury. They just didn't utilize him. And here's a shocker. Big Ben had the same amount of yards rushing as Dwyer and Redmond combined. One carry, 6 yards.
Wow. And the Bengals, they had it rocking and rolling on us, actually. To be honest, Dalton, 25 for 45, 280 yards, 1 touchdown, no interceptions. And Ben Jarvis, the law firm, 22 carries, 75 yards. This guy was plugging, and he was running, and he was hitting holes hard. Actually, this guy was picking them yards at crucial times in the game, especially a nice 5 to 6 yard run for the first down to end the game out against the Steelers. So there are a lot of things the Steelers need to work on, but you know what? I'm a black and gold to the core, and like I said, I'm gonna support. And you guys out there listening, you guys gonna be watching online. You gotta support the Steelers, and things that happen. We've been winning for a long time, so we're gonna push that tonight. You guys out there who try to drift off because your team isn't winning, tonight is the night where you take a stand and you say, you know what, black and gold forever. So you be that.
That's right. 2 things I want to mention. One, Willie Gay was not burned for a touchdown. And I want to give my MVP. I know it's early in the show. I just want to say my MVP of that game last night was Ike Taylor.
Oh, beautiful.
Ike Taylor. He covered Green like a blanket. He was on him like white on rice. Let me tell you something. He held Green 41 yards and only 6 catches.
Exactly. And that was huge because he was left on an island a lot with Green. And, Green is a phenomenal receiver. I believe he torched Chicago last week, who the Steelers are playing this Sunday. So you guys stay tuned for that game. But he torched them last week, and now he came up against the Steelers, and Ike Taylor did a heck of a job on him last night.
Right, and not to get away from that right now, let's change topics for a minute there, Big Tiz. I don't want to be tripping.
The tripping is a sore subject for us. You know what?
I'm not tripping here, Big Tiz, but it's something that we really, really need to talk about. And there's a couple reasons why. I was watching the other channel this morning, before work, ESPN, and they went over they do the Monday Night Football highlights, whatnot. Not one time, Big Tiz, not one time was this penalty ever brought up or discussed. I know you can't talk about every penalty. You got your pass interference, you got your holding every other play, but what makes this so painful? When's the last time you heard of a tripping penalty? I know they've been called before because guys, they have to do what they have to do to stop the runner so they don't score a touchdown. But they showed the replay one time. We watched the game. We were there. We saw the game. One time they showed the replay of the tripping penalty, which was non-existent, wasn't even close.
Yeah, that was actually a game breaker for the Steelers anyway, because they had the momentum going in their direction, and for them to be called for that, actually I believe it was like a 30-yard completion that they had on that play, and to be called for tripping, which didn't make any sense to me, because the Steelers, that was a non-existent call and it should have never happened, with one guy for the Steelers falling backwards and his feet went up and not actually in a tripping motion. If I'd have seen it and I thought it was blatant, I'd have been all behind the refs and what they called, but it wasn't that way. So it was very, very a bad call. That's all the way around.
Didn't even touch him. No, we're always good for one bad call, like the last week with the phantom pass interference.
Exactly.
But we had another call. Remember, Bengals were going down, marching down, third down forever. Steelers were blitzing. They were in the backfield. Referees blew the whistle. And we're thinking, it had to have been a false start, because why would they stop the play after it already started?
Right.
And we were in the backfield. I think we had Woodley was back there. Jarvis Jones was back there. Polamalu was making his run. The play was going to be over in 2 seconds. He was either going to throw the ball away or get sacked. Referees stopped the play, converged on it, talked about it, and found out that there was no flag on the play. So, what do you think happened next play? Third and forever, they get the first down once again. I mean, you got to call it like you see it, Big Tiz. I mean, how much bad luck can one team really, really have?
Well, you know what? Let's get into finding out some of the things that went right in the game last night. And let's start off with it was better pass blocking. No bones about it. A lot of people think that it wasn't, but there was better pass blocking. Because Ben did have some times where he can look downfield and try to find a receiver. And
I can tell you, like I said earlier, Fernando Velasco, he was the key. He stopped the interior lineman from getting in, creating that nice pocket for Ben and give him some time, getting the rushers or the running backs ready to go up the middle. It just, his presence alone, his blocking techniques, hopefully rub off onto Castro and Adams.
Yeah, we'll talk about it later. But let's go into the defensive secondary. Secondary, they stepped up. They had some moments where, a lack in judgment, like I said, where we had a tight end running straight down the middle for the Cincinnati Bengals for a big pickup, huge pickup, and almost scoring. But you know what? Besides that, I seen only small lapses in defense. But you know what? A young defense, half aging, but a lot of younger guys coming in, and they're trying to hold their own, and they were doing a halfway decent job through the game. And like we said earlier, Ike Taylor doing a great job stepping up, against Green. I much applaud that guy.
I hope we don't jinx him.
Exactly. And let's go to our special teams. You got to give special teams credit. These guys, they covered the punts well. There were no big returns. As soon as the guy caught it, they were on him. Or if they didn't catch it, he downed it. It was down. So great job our punting.
Now, question for you, because what do you think about our starting wide receivers and running backs on special teams? What do you think about that?
I'm not a big proponent of that, only because these guys, they have a higher chance of getting hurt, and that's all Pittsburgh needs right now is another injury.
Oh, absolutely. And Jarvis Jones on kick return and punt return, I don't know how many tackles he made. He was down there.
Exactly. He was.
This is the kind of special teams that we haven't been seeing in the past. Let's talk about our new kicker, Zoltan Mesko. You gotta love this kid. We talked about it last game. Just saying his name, I think I'm going out and getting his jersey. But you know what? This kid averaged 46.6 yards a punt, almost 47 yards a punt. When's the last time we've seen that? I think Ray Guy was punting.
Oh, it was decent. Very, very good night, especially for a guy just coming out there and doing it for the Steelers. And he proved that maybe he might be a good fit for us right now.
Right, and with coming from New England, we all know he was rarely used. But he got his workout last night, a season last night, and to kick that many times and to have that high of an average, I see nothing but good things for us in the future. Hopefully, we don't have to use him as much. That's what I'm looking for. But you know what? While we have him, if we need him, we can trust this kid.
Exactly. And that was a good pickup. The penalties. Only 3 penalties for 29 yards. Can you believe that for a Steeler team that averages maybe 9 penalties a game?
Right. That was key, and we all know what the big penalty was. So
the tripping. And you know the other top thing and the top subject of tonight was for the things that went right. There were no players lost to injuries. That was huge. There are a lot of teams out there that are having guys going down with injuries, and Pittsburgh didn't have one last night, so that was very, very huge.
Well, Redmond, he went out possible concussion symptoms, but he came back into the game to finish out the night with 4 yards. But
and now another power running for the Steelers.
Oh, we need to work on that. Let's get into what we felt was wrong.
Right.
And that's a good way. That's a good way to start off with the right. We don't want to beat that down to the ground. We know that me and Big Tiz could be back there and probably do right now.
Exactly.
But the main issue that we feel we haven't created any turnovers.
Right. That's huge. And any team, you have to have turnovers. The Bengals had a couple turnovers last night off of us, and we got none. And actually, I don't believe we had any sacks either, so that's huge.
No sacks, no fumbles, no interceptions.
Those are the great things that we have to work on. We did have some added pressure at times, but when it comes down to it, there was no sacks. And that gives the guy a lot of times to hit his outlet tight ends, which he did a lot, and to do short passes, which I thought we should have done a lot, but we didn't. And, you know, you can look at hindsight or play Monday morning quarterback, but there's a lot of things that we should have done.
All right, and you can look at Andy Dalton's stats, too. He threw like 50%, and the reason why he completed 50% of his passes, Big Tiz, is because of the pressure that we were putting on him.
Exactly.
And we did hit him a couple times. Woodley got a couple shots at him, went through him.
Right.
Legal hits.
Hey, you also can look at the time of possession. The Steelers had 24 minutes and 24 seconds. 24 minutes and 26 seconds in the game, and the Bengals 35 minutes and 34 seconds in the game.
Because I'm in the bathroom longer than that. All right?
Exactly.
Unless you're like Tom Brady, unless you're scoring at will, the time possession is huge. You want to be able to control the game unless you're, every other play you're scoring a touchdown or a field goal. That's pretty cool. However, when you're out there 25 minutes out of 60, that's wrong.
Yeah.
That's wrong.
And another good thing, a big thing that happened that night was the fact that Ben actually had problems hitting his receivers. And there were times where I've seen open receivers, and he either overthrew them or underthrew them or just threw the ball out of his hand. I don't know which one it was.
Well, I tell you, last night, Roethlisberger could have hit water if he fell out of a boat, Big Tiz. I mean, it was that bad. But like we talked about earlier, I don't think he realized how much time he actually had to throw the ball.
I don't think he does. And, you get a guy like Ben, as big as Ben is, who takes a lot of hits, a lot of punishment. He's always got that knack of thinking, you know what, there's somebody on me, even when there's not now. So he's getting to that part and to that age in the game now where he's getting older and he doesn't want to take the hits as much. And he can't afford to take those hits because, like I said, to recuperate from those hits are taking much longer than they used to.
Right, and also we didn't touch base on the tight ends. Both sides are killing us, or both sides killed us last night. With Paulson with the fumble, and with Gresham and the other guys getting wide open in the middle.
Yeah.
Blown coverages, and I mean, you can't cover everybody, but you know, you gotta. I don't know, Big Tiz.
As you can hear it in his voice. But you know, when we come back, we're gonna actually do a replay of our West Coast guy, Rudy Rude Dog Reyes. He did some interviews live out there in L.A. last night while the game was going on. So we're gonna get a little bit of that. And like I said, you guys listening online, go to TalkShoe.com. Check it out. Hit Steeler Nation Live, and you'll see our name up there. You see our logo. You see the guy waving his hand with the towel. And, you know, you hit the code 115243, and if you're a guest, hit 1 and pound, and you are in. You can jump on and talk with us, and you can actually get online, and you can text us. We see some people online already, so it's coming up. And we're going to go to commercial when we come back. Actually, we're going to start back with Rudy Rude Dog Reyes doing his thing out in L.A., big interview last night during the game, which, you know, Rudy is doing his thing as always. So we'll see when we come back from commercial break here on Steeler Nation Live.
Extensive expertise in the real estate market will benefit you whether you're looking to buy or sell a home. Once Dan knows what you want, he will work tirelessly to find the right home for you, because no one should compromise when it comes to such a huge purchase. Whether you're looking for homes for sale, moving resources, or even mortgage information, everything you need is right here with Dan. Dan will always be available for personal service by phone or email, so feel free to contact him with questions at any time. So when buying or selling a home, don't get frustrated or throw in the towel. Just call Dan Powell at 585-704-8324. That's 585-704-8324, or email Dan at dan@rochhomefinder.com. That's Dan at ROCHOMEFINDER.com. Excellence is your only option. Look no further than Supreme Limousine. For any special occasion or need, Supreme Limousine will be there for you. Weddings, proms, wine tours, sporting events, bachelor and bachelorette parties, just to name a few. At Supreme Limo, they know how difficult planning a big event can be. So leave your worries behind, because Supreme Limousine will give you peace of mind. Call Rich at 585-425-3711 and set up your special event today. Serving New York and parts of Canada for many years, and through all of New York's worst weather, you will get to where you're going on time and safe. When you need a ride, Supreme Limousine is on your side. So call Rich at 585-425-3711. And at Supreme Limousine, you get supreme service, not a supreme price.
Welcome back to Steeler Nation Live. I'm Big O.
And I'm Big Tiz.
Oh, he sure is. No doubt about that. You know what, Big Tiz, I failed to mention last game, you know how I love to eat. Love to eat. And while I was at the game, the Kansas City game, you know, drowning my sours after the game, me and my son Tyler, who went to the game with me, we were hungry. We wanted something to eat. And that late at night, there's really not too much open downtown Pittsburgh.
Right.
You got your little places, you got your bars and stuff like that. But me and Tyler, we ran into this place, Bocelli's. I got to tell you, Big Tiz, if you're downtown Pittsburgh after the Pirates game, Steelers game, Penguins game, and you're looking for somewhere to eat, look for Bocelli's. Delicious. We're going to put the picture of me and Tyler up on the website pretty soon, up on the show, maybe next week. Great prices, great food. Andrew was working there. He hooked us up good.
Hey, that's a place you guys got to go, downtown Pittsburgh, I tell you. And I'm in the mood for some pizza right now, to be honest.
But you know what? If you're not in Pittsburgh, you're in Rochester, we all know where to go. McGinney's Sports Pub. You go down and see Sal. Hey, Sal, what's going on? We know you're listening out there. Steeler Nation, the Steeler Fan Club, represents McGinney's, East River Road, Henrietta. Go down for the drink specials, the food specials. Go see Sal. Let him know Steeler Nation Live sent you. He will hook you up. And you know what? I want some potato skins now. Potato skins, pasta. I'm hungry.
Hey, speaking of there's hot weather going on out there in the West Coast, and we getting that from Rudy Rude Dog Reyes. Did a live interview during the game last night, getting some of the feel and some of the vibe out there from the guys in California about what their thoughts was during the game. And you guys will get a little feedback from Rudy as he does his interview out there on Steeler Nation Live, West Coast.
It's recording from El Tapia Cafe out here in the right here by Hacienda Heights. We're located in the city of industry. We have a lot of industry around us. We're talking about industry. We're talking about Steeler football and how they're getting it done on the field, leading 10-all at the half against the Bengals. I thought I'd throw something interesting at the listeners tonight in regards to another Steeler fan's view. His name is Pedro Moisen, and we're going to see what his thoughts are about the game. Pedro, what do you think that the Steelers did in the first half of the game that will enable them to get it done in the second half of the game to basically put a Steelers victory on the record books?
Well, I think they are actually running the ball pretty well, pretty decently. Jones is doing a good job. And Ben's accuracy has been improving throughout the game, and that pass that he threw to Sanders, he was right on the money. He hit him on stride, and that is making a big difference on the score right now.
Right, absolutely. I couldn't agree more with you. And as we go into the second half, Pedro, what do you think we need to do in order to ensure a Steelers victory in the second half of the game so we can tie the Ravens in the AFC North?
I think just continue what we're doing, probably continue to establish the running game and the offensive line. I am very impressed with the offensive line. They have been able to hold the Bengals defense, and they haven't sacked Ben. They are giving him enough time to throw. So I think if we continue this, we'll be able to keep fighting and hopefully we'll get the win.
Absolutely. Actually, that's a very good insight from Pedro. As long as we can continue establishing the run game, we can do some play action as well in the passing game, hopefully break things open to make the secondary of the Bengals think twice about pass rushing us inside the pocket. I think we should be okay. So with that being said, thank you, Steeler Nation. We love you out here in the West Coast. Let's bring it all together. And I got one word for you, and that's Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you heard it there live from Rudy Rude Dog Reyes, doing this thing out on the West Coast, getting the vibe and the feel from everybody out there. And as you can see right there, it was halftime at that point, and the guys out there, they still had hope. They were still vibing, and that's black and gold, like I said. It's out there. We got to grab it and reach it. And these guys were hoping, and I was hoping too last night at that point, a 10-10 tie. You know what I mean?
Yeah, there's a lot of Steeler fans everywhere. Everywhere you go, people want to know who we are. And we're black and gold. We're Pittsburgh Steelers here. Steeler Nation.
What last night during that game, the big thing for the Steelers that we're going to give you a Steeler injury update. There were no major injuries for the Steelers at this point right now, which is a good thing for us starting the season.
Especially Redmond coming out. There's no report coming out of Steeler camp as far as his concussion status. We briefly talked about this earlier in the show. He left the game to get tested. He came back in. Apparently, he has no concussions, but he couldn't run. But anyways, updating Heath Miller. Great news, Heath Miller. He'll be back probably not next week. He's listed as doubtful. So that's, I mean, it's half full, half empty, Big Tiz. It all depends on how you look at it. We really need him back, and we talked about this last night. The game, what he brings to the table as far as he changes the whole outlook of the defensive scheme against the Pittsburgh Steelers when he comes in, because now you take a linebacker or two that needs to cover him, because not only because he can run the routes and catch the ball, he can block.
Right.
So
right.
We lost him.
Yeah, actually, and that was huge. Like I said, we do have Paulson right now, and Paulson's more or less a receiving tight end. He's not a big blocker, and that's where we miss Heath Miller. Heath Miller had both of those attributes, and that was a good thing to watch and a beautiful thing to see. A tight end like that Tony Gonzalez type tight end that can block and can go downfield and catch passes.
Oh, absolutely, and we all picture in your mind right now Heath Miller running down the field with both hands on the ball. As big as he is, he rarely fumbled, but he did have a couple key fumbles. You know, that's history, but for him to run down the field as big as he is and not fumble that much and hold on to the ball with two hands, trying to take him down, that is huge. Getting back to injury, Cortez Allen, he's still out with an ankle injury. He didn't participate in practice today. light practice or limited practice. He was not there. Curtis Brown, quarterback, he has an illness. He has flu-like symptoms. He participated a little bit in practice. He's doubtful for a Sunday night against the Bears. McClendon, hamstring, probable. Full participation in practice today, so he's probable for Sunday against the Bears. Le'Veon Bell, guess what? The boot is off, Big Tiz.
Yeah, good thing, you know what I mean? So, like I said, let him take his time. Hopefully, the Steelers can start to right this ship, because right now there's no blocking anyway, so for him to get out there would be kind of a hard thing anyway.
We want to rush him. I mean, it's 2 losses. We have 14 more games to go regular season. So let's give him some time. Sean Swisham, whatever you want to call him, he played great last night. Nurturing that hamstring injury. I do believe it's his planting leg, not his kicking leg, so that helps a lot. He's recovering well. The trainers at Pittsburgh taking good care of Sean. Other than that, there's really not too much to discuss other than we didn't lose anybody last night, as far as we know.
Which is a good thing for the Steelers, because like I said, we've had some major injuries really at the beginning, with Pouncey being out. Well, that was a good thing to see and hear. But the other things that's going around, there are a lot of rash of injuries out there from the Steeler Nation. Around the NFL, you have the big injuries out there. Big injuries.
The latest casualty to the Falcons, Steven Jackson, who was supposed to be their premier back. He's supposed to be they had him depicted as the NFL Rusher of the Year this year. He's going to lead in rushing categories, but he's not doing it so far with his injury. He's out with a thigh injury, I believe it is. And we're talking 2 to 3 weeks minimal. So you fantasy football owners out there, I hope you have a backup or a handcuff, because you won't see Mr. Jackson in for a couple of games. That's best case scenario, Big Tiz. Phone number is 1-724-444-7444. Call us.
Hey, you know what? Actually, while the show's going on, we got a caller that's on the line now. So I'm going to grab a quick question right now here on Steeler Nation Live. Hey, caller, how you doing today? Welcome to Steeler Nation Live. How are things going with you?
Good there, Big O's and Tiz. It's Walker from Rochester, New York. How are you?
Good. How are things going with you?
Things are going good. I don't have much more of a question, just a concern. What is your take on our quarterback here? Missing passes and getting interceptions. You think he's good to go?
Well, that's a great point that you put out there. We talked about it earlier. I think now that Ben is starting to get more time in the pocket, that we all know that these routes are timed, and that's huge in the NFL. And in a half a second, one block, one missed block can throw off a whole route. So I think Ben's problem last night was the fact that he had a little bit more time than it was used to. Not saying that he had a lot of time. He really did it, but he had more than what he thought he was going to have. And especially when you're behind a new center, like right. Fernando Velasco, the great pickup, we talked about it earlier. He was doing one fantastic job. He was helping DeCastro. He was helping the whole front line block when he wasn't blocking anybody. So that gave Ben a lot more time in the pocket, and I do believe that was the reason why Ben's throws were off last night.
And and we discussed it earlier too. I believe a lot of it had to deal with the fact that Ben was getting, he's so prone to being hit that when you get that blocking and it surprises you, you're thinking to yourself that there's got to be somebody on me. So that's a lot of it. And actually, I believe that the same caller, he just dropped in, and again, so I'm going to open it back up to him because I believe he had dropped his call. So hold on one second. Hey, caller, I believe this is you again. How you doing there? Still in Nation Live?
Yeah, it is. I'm back. So sorry about that. Someone got disconnected.
All right.
My take is on Big Ben. What do you think he's doing this year? He's had a few interceptions here, not connecting passes. And my other take is it looks like Ike Taylor actually is having a good season. So we got good going on the defensive side, but looks like the offensive side's trying to struggle. Do you think it's our O-line, or do you think that Big Ben is a little out of sorts?
Well, we're touching back bases on the O-line. Let's remember now, last year,
they were in disarray because of injuries. This is, if you think about it, this is like the actual first time that these guys are working together in regular season. Now, if you look at preseason or you look at training camp, you're going through the motions pretty much. But now it's go time, and these guys really haven't been 100% working together, as opposed to 50%, 80% in preseason and training camp. These guys have to get together. They have to know each other. They have to know how each other blocks, their schemes. They have to get into each other's minds so they don't have to say anything. They could just act and react and know where, like, the cash is going to be, if he's going to block up to the right, if he's going to peel to the left, if he's going to pull. They have to work together, and this is going to take some time.
And the caller, just to let you know, I do hear what you're saying about Ike Taylor. Ike Taylor, right now, he is having a phenomenal year, and we discussed this a little earlier in the show, the fact that Ike Taylor is out on the island by himself a lot this year, so you got to give him very, very big kudos, and that was great shutdown he did last night on Green. I got to give him all the kudos in the world because he was a man out on the island by himself, and he held up to the task, holding him to 42 yards of offense. I don't know if you watched the majority of the game, but what was your take on the offense for the Steelers?
My take on the offense is they're really, really flat. I don't think our receivers are running the right routes, and I think our quarterback isn't exactly staying back in the pocket and getting a chance to pass, which obviously is on our O-line. But I think our receivers aren't even running the right routes, and I think we're having a miscommunication between the receivers, the quarterbacks, and our O-line, giving us a complete weak offense.
And let's not forget that we have tight ends that aren't blocking tight ends. So when you take that out of the equation and you put in a tight end who can block, Heath Miller, things change. Things get better. You could run more. You could do more plays. They say that one player doesn't make a team, but when you look at it like this, how one player can change the outcome, how a defense is going to react to an offense, one player does make the team. And I'm not necessarily saying like a quarterback or a wide receiver. We're talking about somebody who does more, who can run, can block, can catch. He does more things on the field as opposed to just throwing the ball or just catching it.
It seemed like they didn't have Heath Miller in a lot last night. They weren't passing to him or whatever. Do you think that there was a reason behind that?
Yeah, there's a big reason. Heath Miller he didn't play last night. Polson, he played the majority of the game, and Heath is still he's gonna come back in a couple games. I say by game 4 or game 5, definitely by game 5. Steelers say game 6, but I do believe by game 4 we'll see Heath Miller.
Well, caller, let me ask you this: what is your take and what is your feel on the effect of Le'Veon Bell, who's out on injury? But do you think he could be a great added to that backfield? Even though the backfield right now has blocking issues, do you believe that with this power back right here, this could be a great added to the backfield for the Steelers?
Well, it can't hurt. That's from what we've seen last night. I like Redmond, but I just don't think Redmond's the powerhouse we need right at the moment. So, we need someone a little bit more younger, I think a little bit stronger, so I can't see it hurting at all. So, the sooner we can get him in there playing hard, the better off we're going to be.
And wait till we get Le'Veon Bell and Heath Miller back at the same time. Could you imagine?
Yeah, I agree there. I didn't realize that Heath Miller was out for 4 games. I thought he was back in. So that's, I guess, why I didn't see him last night. So.
Hey, caller, like I said, we appreciate you calling. What's your name, caller, so we can put you out there?
It's Walker from Rochester, New York.
Hey, Walker, how you doing, buddy? Hey, we appreciate you calling in live. See, this guy's a black and gold guy to the core. And, Walker, you big things that are coming for the Steelers. And with guys like you on our team, we go on fire, brother. We appreciate you calling in live here on Steeler Nation Live.
That's right. And anybody else out there who wants to call, it's 1-724-444-7444. And when you get on that line, callers, you have to punch in a special code. You hit 115-243. Pound key, hit 1 for guest, because you're just not a listener. You are a special guest.
Hey, again, Jimmy, thanks a lot there, Walker.
Go Steeler Nation Live. Great job.
All right. Go Steelers. Thanks, Jimbo.
Hey, like I said, you know what? And that's what we're talking about, black and gold. We're like a family out there. And guys like Walker who brings the love, this is what we love here on this show.
That's absolutely right. And if you have any questions, fantasy players out there, you want to know an injury report, should you start somebody, should you sit somebody, give us a call. Johnny B's Fantasy is not up and running just as of yet. We hope to get that ball rolling pretty soon. But me and Big Tiz, we're kind of informational when it comes to this. We strictly are Steeler fans, and we follow up the Steelers, obviously. But if there's a question out there you need to know about the 49ers or the Titans or the Panthers or the Jets, give us a call, 724-444-7444. And the other instructions is you enter that code 115243, hit the pound key, and number 1 for guest.
Yes, and actually the Steelers are playing this Sunday night against the Chicago Bears. That's going to be a big game for the Steelers. The Steelers have to at least try to win this game so they don't go out 0-3. But you know what? The black and gold love is there, and we'll be there to support them. But we're just hoping for this win. We need a win for this season.
That's right, Big Tiz. Last week the Bears just squeaked a win out over the Vikings, 31-30. Cutler, who really isn't that great of a quarterback per se, who always gets himself into trouble, he had a pretty decent game. Cutler went 28 for 39 for like 290 yards. He had 3 touchdowns, Big Tiz. However, 2 interceptions that could have cost him the game. Running game, Forte, 19 carries, 90 yards. No TDs, though, which is huge. Even though they scored 30 points, Forte was not a part of that in the end zone celebration. Brandon Marshall, 7 receptions, 113 yards, and a TD. But here's the kicker, Big Tiz. This is what got me worried. It's getting me worried. Bennett, tight end, 7 receptions, 76 yards, 2 touchdowns. Now,
yeah, that's huge. Huge.
Now, we all know, Big Tiz, that each team watches game film.
Right,
obviously.
right.
They want to be prepared for the team that they're going to play next week. And after last night's game, how the tight end just ran wild, we have to adjust.
Exactly.
I think Dick LeBeau can do it.
Well, you know what? I think Dick LeBeau can do it, and a lot of it comes from the fact that the Steelers have a great defensive prowess, and I believe that will find itself eventually, and hopefully that eventually is not too late. And we have a lot of work to do. We all know this. The coaching staff know this. So you know what? We just got to study the ship and try to keep it steady till we really figure out what's going on with us in Pittsburgh.
Right. As long as Palomalo stays healthy, as long as Ryan Clark stays healthy, Ike Taylor becomes the man. Willie Gay hides and doesn't get beat. As long as we can do that, create pressure. We need the keys to victory next week, Big Tiz. We have to create pressure. We have to force turnovers. We have to create turnovers. If we get into Cutler's face, guaranteed, right off the bat, that's a good thing.
Right.
Because you know as well as I do, he's a great quarterback, but he can't handle pressure. And
exactly.
that's when he makes mistakes. And we have to do that. If we have to go man-to-man with Brandon Marshall to get to him, you either live with the sword or die by the sword, Big Tiz.
Exactly.
We get the Cutler. He can't get the ball to Marshall. So that's what we have to do. We have to hit Forte hard. We have to hit him in the backfield.
Exactly. That's what has to happen. There are a lot of things that we need to be keys to winning this game against the Bears on Sunday night. And what we're going to do is right now we're going to go to commercial. When we come back, we're going to go through a full preview of what we think we need to beat the Bears on Sunday night. So stay tuned. Next up on Steeler Nation Live.
Big Tiz. Every Tuesday night at 7 p.m. New Year's only in-depth analysis of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Black and gold. Game review. Injury report. Injury releases. Who got fired? Fantasy stats. Rumors. Anything and everything you want to know about the black and gold. SteelerNationLive.net.
Uniform Express, located on 1408 Buffalo Road, Rochester, New York, for your police, fire, or EMS supplies.
Welcome back, Steel Nation Live. I'm Big O with my counterpart in crime, Big Tiz.
Hey. Like I said, now we're going to talk about the Bears preview. Sorry about that. We're going to talk about the Bears preview with the Steelers. And, Big O, what are some of the things that the Steelers need to do to try to win this game?
Here we go. Before the break, how we talked about, getting Cutler's face, creating pressure on him, forcing him to make mistakes, and throwing the ball away, hopefully into our arms for interceptions. We also have to stop Forte. Obviously, we want to stop the running game. If we could stop the pass, stop the run, there's a great chance we're going to win this game. However, he's multi-dimensional, this Forte kid. Not only can he run the ball down your throat, but he can catch the ball out of the backfield. And what he's great at, he's making those yards after the catch. So we have to stop him. Like I said earlier, we have to hit him in the backfield. We can't give him a chance to break it to the outside, because we've seen in the past that once those guys hit the corner and run, it's a foot race, and we can't have that. We can't do that. And the tight ends, we have to contain the tight ends. And you saw last night how they exploited our defense. There was times where our linebackers inside were covering outside when they should have been inside. And all game, people are going to pick up on that, and that's what they did. And a lot of those long balls, the long yards after the catch were attributed to the tight ends.
Well, and a lot of things, too, that the Steelers have to be careful of Forte, only because the Steelers got beat by a back that does almost the same type of things that Forte does. We got beat by him last night in Cincinnati. So the Steelers, the linebackers, have to really be the key, and they have to step up. And don't get me wrong, I know it's a new core of linebackers out there. Foot is out, actually, even with the torn bicep. So, you got other guys trying to step in and trying to fill in. And hopefully, like I said earlier, they will find their niche and find their way. I'm just hoping that isn't too long from now, you know what I mean? Because that can put us way out of sorts.
No, absolutely. We want to keep our offense on the field and give the defense a rest, because I'm so proud of defense last night. They scored 20 points on us. However, you know what? It could have been a lot worse.
Exactly. And you know what? And I think one of the other keys for the Steelers to win that game is the fact that the offense has to play, that the offense has to go down and at least get that time of possession. Even if you come away with a field goal, that's huge for the defense, because at least they can see that, you know what, we're at least trying to score some points on them holding other teams. When you go down and you play defense all day and you got an offense that's doing absolutely nothing, it gets hard.
Yeah, absolutely. It tires you out. And let me tell you, if we were in Denver, rarefied air and the altitude, number one, Clark wouldn't have been playing.
Right, exactly.
And those guys were out there huffing and puffing last night, but you know what? They were out there and they were doing. And they saved our offense's butt many times last night. You can't blame them.
Well, Big O, let's give everybody, what do you think is a true and honest score for the game?
Well, I'm looking for a tough defensive battle, and you know me, optimism is my middle name. And I do believe it's going to be a tough fought match, because we all seen it before. You could have one team that's going, in the right direction. You got another team that's going in the wrong direction, and when they play, sometimes these teams play down to the opposing team's level. And at this point right now, Chicago's playing great football. We're not. I think we pull Chicago down to our level. Right now, I say we squeak it out 13-10.
I do like that kind of, but the fact is that our offense, and that's about right where our offense is scoring, so I might agree with you on points-wise. But I'm looking for the offense to actually, knowing that their back is against the wall, to probably put out a little bit more than that. And I'm looking for like maybe a more of a 17-10 score, because I do see Sanders can catch the ball, can run with the ball, and we do have our other taller receiver that can catch the ball in the corner.
Derek Moy.
Yes, can catch the ball in the corner of the end zone. That's huge for the Steelers. And we also have, our number 84, Brown. And Brown is out there trying to catch passes. So, like I said, we do have some possibilities. And if we, like I said, the main thing is the Steelers have to study the ship. And, if it takes the dink and dunk all the way till you get down the field, the same MO that the New England Patriots do. That's the only way they move downfield, is they do the dink and dunk. You got to pay attention to the game. Dink and dunk their way downfield till something opens up. And that way, that'll help drop those linebackers. If the Steelers can go to those 5-yard passes, stop trying to throw the ball downfield when you know you don't have enough time. 5-yard outs, 5-yard ins, tight end passes, that's going to drop those linebackers to open up the running game. Right now I'm kind of baffled by why we're having such issues.
Right. Also, we could throw in those bubble packages. We could throw in a bunch of wide receivers, single setbacks, spread out the defense, and try to run the ball like that. There's a lot of things we can do. Swing passes, screens, and we had some success with the delayed draw up the middle. And you can't rely on that. You can't rely on it. You have to rely on some good blocking.
Yeah, and you said the key there, blocking, and blocking does hurt a lot of things. You know what? Like I said, I'm looking for like a 17-10 score. But there was a lot of feedback, guys, and we gather a lot of you guys' information from Facebook, Twitter, and different things like that. And there were a lot of things coming out on our Facebook this year. And actually, the great thing about it is that these things are coming out from the female population of Steeler Nation Live.
Oh, absolutely. And as we did in the last show, Big Tiz, we mentioned first names because we want to give these people credit. And you know who you are. You know who you said it. We're gonna repeat it and let everybody else who really hasn't seen Facebook, our Facebook page or whatnot, doesn't follow it, what a couple of these people are saying. So we're gonna go off the top of the boat, and we do have to bleep out a couple words because this is a family show. But when you wake up and you got your morning coffee or your vodka, whatever you drink first thing in the morning, you're upset.
Right.
You're still in the bleep, we lost, and I'm angry mode. So pretty much you speak what's on your mind. So because of that, we have to bleep off a few words. So we'll start with Celeste. Hope I pronounced her name right. Mike Tomlin will be the only coach in Steeler history to be fired if he doesn't get the act together and fast. You want to touch base on that, Big Tiz?
Well, that I'm not agreeing with. I mean, every coach goes to their ups and downs, and right now the problem with the Steelers, I don't really believe it's Mike Tomlin. It's the guy's not producing on the field. And, I believe Mike Tomlin will take the steps needed, at least to try to study the ship till we can get some guys in there who can do what they need to do.
You know what? I'm going to play devil's advocate on this one, because now, just devil's advocate. This is not my true feelings.
Right.
But just to get another side or possibly another take of what people may be thinking about Tomlin. Now, we all remember Coach Cowher, Bill Cowher.
Right.
The intensity that he brought to the Steelers, the defense, because he was a linebacker, so he was pretty much a defensive guy.
Right.
But his intensity, his anger, his emotions on the sideline got us to a couple Super Bowls. Now, when it was time for Bill to leave, the intensity level dropped. He became more of a friend as opposed to a coach, and we saw the downfall of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, let's take it back a couple more years. The hiring of Mike Tomlin.
Mm-hmm.
He doesn't play. That's it. He's out there to hurt you. You want to be part of his team, you're going to prove yourself.
Right.
Intensity level is high. Emotions high. He didn't take anything. He wins the Super Bowl. The youngest coach in NFL history to win a Super Bowl, I do believe, Mike Tomlin of the Pittsburgh Steelers.
Right.
Now we see a decline. Any correlation? I mean, can you compare these two?
Well, in a way, I can at the earlier stages of it, because Tomlin is actually getting older, and I believe now he's getting ready to start. I believe he's really getting ready to start his real run, to be honest. And the reason I say that is because this transition going from Cowher's team is starting to come into his team, and so it's a transition. And the fact that you have to look at is that Tomlin, he's got a young team. Well, going to be a young team, so he's going to go through them hard times. Every year, I believe, I've seen the Steelers under Cowher go 6-10 quite a few times. You know, getting close to the final games and can never get over the hump under Cowher. People have to look at these things, and you know, the Steelers are not going to win every game, every year, every day of the week. Is it time to cut heads because that doesn't happen? That's not a true fan. You have to support your team and have them go on. You know, and we live up here in upstate New York where the Buffalo Bills reign king up here.
Oh,
and
boy.
these guys, you let Buffalo, these are longtime fans, let Buffalo win 2 or 3 games. These guys are talking Super Bowl.
Can you blame them?
Yeah, I mean, but that's a true fan. And that's what the Steelers need. They need a true fan like this. And, you know, I do applaud questions that come out like this or statements that come out like that. And you know what? But you have to look at both sides of the coin, which we're doing right here tonight. And, yeah, is there a plus side to it? Yeah. Is there a minus side to it? Of course there is. Comments, questions? If you want to get into what me and Big Tiz are talking about, this Facebook, Twitter post, you can call 1-724-444-7444, code 115243. Hit the pound, press 1 for guest, and we want to hear your feedback on this. Is Tomlin getting soft, or is he just getting mature? Actually, yeah, it's a good question. Do you think that his maturity level is going to take care of this? That yelling and screaming is not the answer? Should he show more emotion on the sideline to give the fans, let the fans know that he really does care? And actually, we do have another one on our Facebook chat, and that was Debbie. She says, okay, so my boys lost last night, but that doesn't mean I turn my back on them. A true fan, in italics, sticks with their team through thick and thin. Yes, they are. Yes, they need to get it together for Sunday's game, Yes, they are 0-2, and yes, they're the only NFL team with 6 Super Bowl titles. You know what? This is a young lady who's letting everybody know out there, you know what, the Steelers, they're still king, no matter what the record is. These guys, 6 Super Bowl titles. Are they 0-2? Of course. But the thing about it is, the only thing that the Steelers can try to do is look up, and that's what she's trying to say. And you guys have to be focused if you're a fan, and you gotta sit there and play hard just like you want your Steelers to play hard, so you gotta support hard. Yeah, I agree totally. It's all right, folks, to be unhappy, to be disappointed, to be angry. But when it comes to bashing your team and start throwing that F word around, we're talking about fired, folks. The F word, I mean, really, you really can't. I don't know. I don't want him fired. I don't even think about, are the Rooneys considering, you know. No, I don't think so. Are we highly disappointed? Yes. Is Mike Tomlin disappointed? I'm sure he is. You can hear it in his voice. He's really, I mean, you know how he is. Right. So we also had Heidi. I hear a lot of crap being said. Here's my view on my team. I love them. I've been a fan since 1978, and like a marriage, you love them no matter what. If they win, tie, or lose, you have to stick with them. We have a lot of injuries, lost some very good players, and rebuilding now. It is what it is. I'm not going to like another team, Bodine, because every team goes through this. I will forever be a Pittsburgh Steelers girl till the day I die. I will always bleed black and gold, baby. I love my men in black and gold. I won't tolerate any smack being said on my page either, which has mostly my Steeler brothers and sisters. And then she ends it, have a great day. Amen. I'm off to do some retail therapy, which always makes a girl feel better. Heidi, I hope you probably did a lot of shopping today. So God bless you and amen to that. Hey, that's what I said, and that's what it's all about. You know, we've got Steeler fans out there who are male and female, and this is showing the ladies are supporting them. So the ladies, you out there, much love to you, and much love and support that you guys are giving to Steeler Nation and Steeler Nation Live. Actually, you know what? One thing before we get more into the show, we got to also touch topic on our switch gears. Our Where Are They Now? Where are they now? And our Where Are They Now is the segment of the show where we talked about our 3 guys that used to be Steelers. And we keep tabs on them to see how they're doing during the season and watch their progressions or you know, their drop-offs. But right now, we're seeing a good, you know, progression from at least two of the Steelers.
Well, Mendenhall had a pretty decent game. He almost lost the game for the Cardinals with that touchdown that probably shouldn't have been a touchdown.
Right.
Looked like a fumble to me, but we want to give the guy some props. We be too disgruntled, but we don't want to give the guy. He did a great job. It was a touchdown, is what it is. 15 carries, 66 yards, and that one fumble TD.
And then we got Mike Wallace. Mike Wallace griped about not being too much of a part of the offense for the Dolphins, and he got his wish, and he had a great day. He went off, and he backed up his talk. 9 catches, 115 yards, and a touchdown, and he almost had another touchdown.
Well, let's not get carried away here, Big Tiz. And let's touch base on this topic right now, Wallace. Before our show, I was listening to a little sports talk radio, local, Rochester, New York, and I'm not going to mention any names. Just in case you're out there listening, you know who you are. They were saying what a great loss because of this one game Wallace had, that the Steelers, how they're doing bad because we don't have Wallace anymore, and how great the Dolphins are looking. Well, the Dolphins are 2-0. We got to give them that. We got to give the Dolphins credit. They're 2-0. So if there's Mr. Laurie out there, I know he's a devoted listener to us. So Mr. Laurie, if you're out there listening, you're 2-0 now. Make sure you have a good pair of shoes when you jump off that bandwagon, because that's not going to last. But anyways, he had a pretty decent game. He's Mike Wallace. Either two things out of this: one, he did have a great day, or two, somebody taught him how to catch a football.
Exactly. But that's what it appears to be at the moment.
And these guys on the radio, not to cut you off, because these guys on the radio, they made it seem like that Pittsburgh wasn't going to pay him the money for his caliber. You know what? The Steelers offered him money. But after the season he had last year, there's no way that anybody or any team could have offered him that much money after his season.
Right. And
no.
And actually, in our last guy on the list is Harrison. Harrison played the game last night. Unbelievably, 0 tackles, 0 sacks, 0 interceptions. I mean, didn't do much.
No forced fumbles either.
Right. So basically, I don't know if they used him as a hole filler or what it was.
He did try, I guess. He did play the game 60. I don't know if it's total 60 minutes, but he was in there a lot. I don't know if anybody caught the interview what Gruden had with Harrison before the game. I don't know. I'm still on the fence with this guy. It all depends on who you talk to. He talks he's going to smash us in the mouth. It's all business. But then he gets on, in front of the cameras, and Gruden asked him about, went through the lineup of the coaches, Dick LeBeau, and obviously he hit a heartstring. And you could tell it was genuine.
Right.
Genuine. He teared up. He said he misses him. It kind of gets you in the heart. It makes you think. Because did he make the wrong decision?
Like I said, we always have that doubt in our mind, but he's an aging player, so he has to get on to where he can fit in. And right now, the Bengals might be that good fit in for him because they got younger players that's coming up, and with the addition of him, he can get to play, but not that many reps. So it might be that perfect fit for him at the moment.
Yeah. But getting back to now, it's the new Pittsburgh Steelers, the young team. As the one woman hit the topic earlier from Facebook, that we're a younger team, we're a new team, we're in transition. I wouldn't say rebuilding, not necessarily, because these guys been on the team, they just haven't been playing. So I think we're going to be fine.
I think so. Like I said, we just have to right this ship. Well, guys, we're going to go to a commercial. When we come back, we're going to go to Rudy finishing off his talk over there in L.A. after the post-game comments from the Steelers game. And we're going to give you our final thoughts. And when we come back, Big O's got something he wants to say to you guys before we go to commercial.
I love you guys.
Next up on Steeler Nation Live.
It's Spaghetti Sports Pub, located at 2246 East River Road. A perfect blend of Irish charm and Italian cuisine. From Calabria favorites like calamari to chicken French to the new signature dish like the Steel City Deli.
The Rockless Burger.
Everything is delicious and prepared fresh for you.
They offer a full lineup of your favorite beverages with drink specials daily, and don't forget their $5 Monster Bomb.
Ice cold beer.
All day, every day. With 2 floors of seating and 20 high-def televisions, there's not a bad seat in the house to catch every minute of the NFL action.
Watch what you want.
McGinnis is the official home of the Rochester Steelers fan club.
Steelers!
So come on down to McGinnis Sports Bar, 2246 East River Road in Henrietta.
At Grease Lightning, we offer fast automotive service, specializing in oil changes and auto repairs. We offer convenient yet comprehensive maintenance and repair service, fast and no appointment necessary. At Grease Lightning, we offer the best prices on top name brands. We get you in, out, and on your way, just like Grease Lightning. Grease Lightning is locally owned and operated. So come on down to 2061 Charlie Avenue here in Rochester and talk to Charles because he's in charge. You can also call Charles at 585-563-7939 or go to our website at mygreaselightning.com.
Welcome back, Steel Nation Live. Big O, bring you back in with my partner in crime, Big Tiz.
Hey, back.
Hey, phone lines are still open, folks. 1-724-444-7444. And you got to hit that key. You got the code 115243. Hit the pound key and the number 1 for our special guest. Topics of the night: last night's game and next week's game. What do we have to do to beat those Bears? What's up, Bears? I gotta tell you, I love that commercial, Big Tiz. The Bear guys with the discount double check.
Oh yeah, that is a phenomenal commercial. I loved it myself.
Well, when they saved all their miles up, so now they're in the grilling section. And who's in the middle? Aaron Rodgers.
Oh man, and like I said, it's an epic commercial. I wish the Steelers would do more commercials like that. You know what I mean?
Oh, I hear you, man.
Well, you know, guys, we're getting close to the end of our show, and we also wanted to touch base and let you guys hear Rudy on his final, broadcast of that night with out there in L.A. getting feedback from some of the Steeler fans. After the game, it actually was kind of a somber mood, but what could you expect? I mean, it was a loss, but the Steeler fans were there, still loving the black and gold.
Reporting from El Tepeyac Cafe in the city of Industry. I have Sasha here, one of the watchers of this game. What do you think about the game, Sasha?
I just think the offense needs a lot.
Okay, so based on those kinks, what do you think would be the biggest issue right now facing the Steelers going into Sunday night's game against the Bears?
Well, Roethlisberger has to get his act together and iron out whatever he has to iron out because all his passes were way off the mark. I don't know where he was this.
Well, there you go. There's one example of thoughts from Sasha this evening in regards to how the Steelers are playing. Personally, I just don't believe that with the way Ben was throwing tonight that we were ever able to get anything downfield and enable us to get into scoring positions. Clearly, I don't put all of this on Ben Roethlisberger. There was David Paulson, which had a fumble very deep into the red zone. You had the defensive line, which didn't have any takeaways, no interceptions, no pick six. There was absolutely nothing to support us going into Chicago and beating Chicago. For Steeler Nation Live, got one word, and that's Pittsburgh.
There you go, Rudy doing his, Rudy doing his thing there from L.A. It seemed like it was a somber mood after the game, but you know what? The thing about the Steelers, they do recognize the things that have to be done, and they try to right it. So I give them credit on that. You know what? But we're going to go on. Actually, we're going to get to our final thoughts of the game for tonight. And our final thought is the fact that the Steelers have to step up. No matter which way you look at it, no bones about it. They have to step up. This is a huge game against the Chicago Bears. And the Steelers have to put everything on the line because 0-3 is a big deficit to come back from. And if the Steelers can do everything they need, and the linebackers are key, like I said, Forte has to be shut down. They got beat by a back that was similar to Forte. So the Steelers have to step up, and their linebackers have to be huge. So I believe that's the big part right there because the defensive backs didn't do that bad last night, which is a throw the tight ends, which fall back into the linebacker situation again, or passes to the running back. So, and that pressure has to be applied. So if the Steelers can do those type of things, they can get some good keys to winning this game, and hopefully the Steelers can progress further. And let's talk about getting rid of the coach or firing the coach right now. To me, that's non-existent. This guy's a phenomenal coach, and the Steelers it'd be a bad thing to lose this guy. This guy actually was the head coach of the secondary who shut down Jerry Rice and I can't remember who else they had on that team for the Raiders that year when they had Gannon as a quarterback, and he took them.
Oh yeah,
I mean, and that was the year that the Tampa Bay Bucks, when never winning a Super Bowl, that secondary came up huge and shut them down. Mike Tomlin was over that secondary.
Yeah, that's a one-hit wonder.
Yeah,
call them Buccaneers.
And a lot of people don't realize that. So, like I said, we can do it. He can right the ship, and this is a guy we have to stick behind him. And if you're a black and gold member, be it for life, not for sometimes, not for whenever you feel like it or whatever. Be it for life. Black and gold is where it's at.
That's right. Now a little senseless information here. I don't know if you want to call it senseless because it really doesn't pertain anything to the Steelers. But if you're a football fan and you're keeping, score at home, anybody watch the Manning Bowl the other night? Pretty good game. I mean, pretty good because I had Peyton Manning on my fantasy football team. But you know what? Just a couple things about the Manning Bowl and the history. Peyton Manning is 3-0 against little bro Eli. 3-0. Scored Denver 41, Giants 23. They had some kind of a comeback. They tried, but I think it was too far out of reach. Peyton Manning, 30 for 43, 307 yards, 2 touchdowns. But little brother Eli, 28 for 49 for 362 yards, 1 TD and a handful of interceptions. I think that was the key. So if anybody taking scored home, writing notes about the Manning Bowl, there's the history on that. But now, my final thoughts, folks. My feeling is this: the worst thing that we can possibly do right now is start pointing fingers. That's how you implode. When guys aren't picking each other up, when you're pointing fingers, we all have issues. Coaching, all the way down to the field goal kicker, the ball boy, the water boy, the trainers. Anybody who has anything to do with the Steelers at this time is at fault. Anybody. So what we need to do is not find fault, accept the fact that we have fault, and try and fix the fault. Correct mistakes. See what we're doing wrong. And I see that we're slowly getting there. Not as fast as we want to, but we do.
It's huge for the Steelers in this. They have to do it. They have to do it at a faster pace, though, especially after this game that's coming up Sunday.
Oh, absolutely. This is a much-needed win. Every win you want. Every game you play, you want to win, Big Tiz. Folks at home know when you put on that jersey and you're rooting for your team, you expect to win because you want to win. Losing is not an option, but unfortunately, that's life. So we have to take the losses with the wins. Big Tiz, how do we react from those losses? There's the thing you teach your kids, is always be a good winner, but you got to be a good loser too. We have to learn from our mistakes so we don't make them again. Accountability, execution, huge. And what's the big L? Leadership. So accountability, leadership, execution. We all want some ale. That's going to be our theme for the year, Big Tiz, ale. Ice cold ale, very nice. But the Pittsburgh ale, accountability, leadership, and execution, that is the keys to victory, Big Tiz. I'm Big O.
And I'm Big Tiz, and like I said, appreciate you guys giving us another turn to come here on Steeler Nation Live, and we're going to give that love back to you. So we will see you guys next week here on Steeler Nation Live.
song, man.